Okay, well, hello. Welcome to Tea Time with Glow. I am your host, Gloria Rose, and there is some crazy things happening. Um, I've been trying. I'm not very I can't say tech friendly because I can use technology. I'm just not exactly aware or tech savvy when it comes to editing and uploading and using really. If you were to be like Gloria, go set up right now. Go set up a computer. Unless it's a Chromebook or a laptop, you can just sign in. I'd be like, what? It's deer in headlights. So, anyways, welcome to Tea Time with Glow. I am your host, Gloria Rose, and I figured I would just quickly come on. Um, right now, I am not drinking tea. I've always known that I have a lactose allergy. And over the last month, I've been having a lot of problems where I now have to go for a really uncomfortable procedure, which thank goodness they put you to sleep because I would not be able to be awake for something to enter and exit. No way. And I'm really nervous about going through with it, but at the end of the day, honestly, I'm going to be out and we'll know if there's something serious or not that's been going on. Now, as someone who does suffer from IBS, there and there is foods I know that I should and should not consume. However, there is an increase of takeout, which is really unhealthy, and that irritated it even more. But I also have lactose allergy. I've always I say minor because I can have goat cheese and I can have feta cheese. I can have it cooked. I can have it raw. It does nothing to my stomach. It actually tastes really good, and I don't feel sick. I don't get cramps. I don't get bloated or anything like that. I don't have I just don't have any symptoms. But if I consume any other cheese, it does affect me. So I found that having a yogurt occasionally or cream half and half of my coffee if I want my coffee like this today is just coffee with almond milk. Anyway, point is I've tried to limit my dairy, but then I started calcium. My doctor wanted me to take calcium supplements because I'm anemic and I have to take my iron and all this other fun stuff. So essentially, um, growing up, my nan, she was one of the first women in my life um, and the main person in my life, bless her heart, she's now passed, where she has been my solid ground, the person that I turned to for everything until she had passed. She was like my everything. If I had a problem, I wanted a ride, I needed advice, she was the person that I turned to, because when we were growing up, essentially, we didn't have a very good childhood. Don't mind behind me, I have stuff that I'm preparing for my event on the 21st. And I have my broom sitting there because I just finished cleaning the kitchen. I work from home, so this is my office space. Um, anyways, she was the one person that I was able to count on no matter what. And my Aunt Lorraine and I call her my Auntie Rain, and my Aunt Laura, who I call my Auntie Rara, and I'm named after my nan, and I'm really grateful for that, this beautiful Italian woman. And I remember growing up, she always sang. She sang though, but she sang in Italian and opera. And I know back in the day, in her day, when she was a little girl, she used to sing on the radio. I tried to look up the radio station, but I can't find anything on it. So, I would love to see if there is record to hear her in her younger days. Because that woman, mwah, love her, and her voice was always so strong and beautiful. She was always such a strong woman, and I believe that's where I get it from. But anyways, I just wanted to come on and talk to you guys about my videos that I'm posting, which is the Camp30. But before we get into it, I usually start with my intro and tell you what I'm drinking. So I'm drinking regular, I haven't had a cup of proper coffee in I don't know, 4 days. And the last like day or so, I haven't actually had coffee. So, um, with my nan having cancer, and being a diabetic and having stroke and having a heart attack, she had a few strokes, which is insane. She used to be on diets and used to try all these different things. And I remember she had this book. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was called, I think it was called like Eat Right for Your Blood Type. Now there's a modern, updated version of it, but I have like the original, the very first book, and I just based most of it off of that. So it explains different blood types and how different foods react, how our bloods react with other blood, things like that. It was actually really important for me to learn because being anemic, um, like I have anemia, so I wanted to learn a little bit more. And I have IBS, but I also know that even when I don't consume the dairy, that I have other health problems. And I'm like, there's got to be something bigger to it. And then the deeper you look into your own nutrition and your own health, like I did, you come to, or at least I came to realize that I need to eat better for my body. So when I was growing up, this should have been a good indicator because I'm intuitive. But when I was growing up, I used to dislike meat. Like my mom used to have to force me to eat any meat. And the only meat that I actually willingly ate without a problem besides canned tuna was chicken or turkey. So I liked turkey because it was already off of the bone. There was no skin. It was already on my plate and it was a bird. And I liked it. It was good. It had like this light taste. And it was filling, but it was so good. And then with the stuffing and carrots, in which I'm not allowed potatoes or sweet potatoes now, I ended up eating all these things and liking these things. But the chicken, she used to get like the bone chicken, the chicken with the bone and the skin. So I would pick the skin off. If the skin was crispy, I sometimes would try to eat it and successfully do. The only fat on meat I liked was the pork chops with the bone. I loved the fat on the outside when it was like cooked. I would just eat the fat. And the fat was so good. And the meat I didn't really care for. Even when she did boneless pork chops. I'd just take it right off the bone and I'd eat all the fat pieces. But the chicken, I would pick it off of the bone and I would waste it. There'd be like 3 little pieces of chicken and then the rest on the bone. Now, if this was the tables were turned and I was my mom at the time and I was, and then there was me, I wouldn't have beat my arse, but I would have been like, no, I'll pick this off for you then, but you're eating it. I learned that it was cartilage, bones, and with the chicken, it was the, like the veins and stuff. Totally grossed out. First of all, animals were cute and I loved them all. And it's not that eating the animals were gross. I didn't know that at the time, but it took years. Like my mom would make spaghetti or shepherd's pie, things like that. If I added ketchup to shepherd's pie, I sometimes could eat the ground beef, but usually I just picked out all of the corn and the potatoes and I'd mix them and add ketchup to that and there'd be meat. I hated and still to this day refuse to eat and still hate, and not dislike. I mean, hate. Hate's a strong word, but if there is a food that I hate, there is one food that I can honestly say is effing grossest. So thinking about ground beef. Anyways, point is, I always wanted to eat more fruits and vegetables, or if my mom made beans or whatever, I liked those better. I never liked meat. She used to have to force me. I very rarely, like when it came to sausage, I ate bacon, that was it. Okay, so chicken and bacon and turkey, those and tuna. Those were the things I willingly ate and I loved them. My mom would always say when I'd be like, can't I just eat the vegetables? Like, can't I just eat vegetables? I don't want to eat the meat. I'd pick at the meat to the point that it would be in little pieces and you couldn't tell if I ate it or not. And I'd only had a couple bites to trick everybody, so It took me a very long time. Um, and even when we went through like the hunger phase where my mom basically starved us for the most part, it still is the same thing. But when I went to someone else's home and they cooked dinner, I always ate what was on my plate, even if I didn't like it. But at home, I didn't have to. Well, I mean, yeah, we still had to, but like it just got to the point where she put the meat on the plate and that was it. It I would eat some of the meats. It turns out over the years I just like them. Turns out in this book, a lot of the meat I'm not even supposed to be consuming. And ironically, the foods that it says that you should avoid, I've noticed over the years that trigger my IBS, or if it doesn't trigger my IBS, it might cause a different problem. And then there's foods that I'm like, oh, every time I eat this, I'm like, woo! And I never realized because I eat a lot of junk and stuff and takeout and all these things, and I love potatoes. I come to find out that for my blood type that, tomatoes and vinegar, I can't have either. I can't have pepper, any pepper, not cayenne, not black pepper, not hot peppers, not banana peppers, not green or sweet or yellow peppers. I can't have jalapenos. Like, I can't have potatoes. I can't have sweet potato. I love sweet potatoes. Ugh. So I've been going through a big diet change. I'm fully cutting out the dairy instead of occasionally, which brings me to my coffee. So I've tried the soy milk and all that crap. It is all, ugh, to me, it is all disgusting. That vegan chicken, that's like meat paste with flavor. That is disgusting. That's what those like frozen chicken nuggets have. It's gross. But I have to make myself now learn to eat and enjoy veggie burgers and stuff because it turns out I was enjoying over the years my pulled pork and my bacon. I love. And I come to find out now that I can't consume any pork. Whenever I've eaten pork, it has caused constipation. So like there are certain things that it says to avoid. I get it. So I have not only completely cut out dairy, which is super hard because if you guys know me, I love having chocolate milk and I love my yogurt and I love having cream in a coffee with sugar. It's really hard to adjust. But I'm not just adjusting, I'm now adding a whole new thing. So like all the foods that I barely even ate as what it is, but like all the foods that I would eat, like on subs and stuff, I like hot peppers and black olives and hot peppers. If I didn't say that, tomatoes, and I love the hot peppers, those banana peppers. They have like that perfect balance of spice that you can eat a shit ton and your tongue's not falling off. But it's spicy enough that for me it's like the perfect amount. I can't have my buffalo seasoning because there's peppers in them, so I can't even have any more of my potato chips that I like. Yes, there's healthier options. Yes, I've tried them, but for whatever reason, sugary and fatty food does taste so much better than the healthier options. No, I could be wrong, whatever. But now I can't have dairy. So this is my Folgers coffee. And in it, it's by Silk. That's the company. I didn't care what brand it was. I was like, I'm having cream in my coffee of some kind. And almond milk itself doesn't taste good in coffee. But there's a coffee cream version of the almond milk. It's almond hazelnut. So I was like, I looked at the ingredients. It's the exact same thing as in the almond milk. The only difference is it says for coffee because it's flavored differently, I think. It says for coffee. So I put it in this mofo. Now, I like that Delights it's called. And it's a flavored one. It's a coffee cream. Oh my god, I don't know the brand. Like, I don't know the company, but I love those flavored creams because then I don't use sugar. I just put the flavored cream in, and it has the sugar and cream already in it. I figured it out. Because at Tim Hortons, they have almond milk. And I drink almond milk all the time now. I like almond milk. Rice milk is okay too, but I prefer my almond milk. It doesn't matter which company. There's only the two that I know that I trust. And I honestly think they're all synthetic because realistically, how the heck can you get milk out of a nut? You know what? For all of us weirdos who just minds went into the gutter, let's clear that. That's not. Well, at least mine did as soon as I said that. Wow. But like you might be able to get almond butter, peanut butter. I've never seen peanut milk. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I can't have coconut milk or coconuts. There's a lot of foods I no longer can have. I'm not allowed any wheat. I have to go gluten-free or at least rye. And it sucks that I can't have my potatoes. Guys, I always love potatoes. Especially as mashed potatoes, roasted, or french fries. Who doesn't like fries? But anyway, we went to Camp 30 randomly. I'll give you guys a little bit of a quick history on it. But anyways, we went to this place. It is called Camp 30. It also has a bunch of different names, to be honest. So like it was a random family event. A random family event. And we just randomly showed up. I say randomly because I had no idea. As you guys may or may not know, I had stitches in my knee. So I wasn't able to like walk really far and fast. I wasn't able to go join in on the actual walkthroughs, which I really wanted to do. I've always wanted to do a paranormal investigation or go explore an abandoned place or property or whatever. And I always wanted to be prepared. Like, okay, we've talked about going there and doing a live segment for tea time. I wanted to be able to meditate and to clear and to prep and do all those things. I say meditate because it allows me to get rid of all my junk and allows me to be in this open and safe space for myself, where I don't stress, I don't feel anxiety, I'm not afraid, I'm not overthinking. Like, it's just all that tension and all that stress and all those problems and things that were existing are gone. And sometimes when I am in that state, I feel like it's almost like you feel like you're floating because you don't realize, it's almost like you forget where you're sitting. Like, I've been on my bed and thinking I'm somewhere else in the house. Meanwhile, I'm open up my eyes for my meditation and I'm on my bed. So like there's different experiences. And I wanted to be able to be prepared so that I would be able to connect with the land instantly instead of like as soon as I got there and before, instead of just, okay, yeah, we're showing up and now I'm going to. I wanted to prepare myself. It didn't work out that way. So I was really excited. I was hurting. I sucked it up. There was pain. Most of that adventure, there was pain. And there is a part where you may or may not hear dogs. So it is located in Bowmanville, on the outskirts of Bowmanville. There has been a new development of like, I guess townhouses or houses or whatever built on the other side of the creek. And a lot of people can do self-tours and just walk around the property, take like around the path and stuff like that. We didn't get to explore the whole place because of my knee. I sucked it up as much as I could. However, I do plan on going back and starting from the other side. At the entrance, we came in through the back, I believe. But I wanted to go into the front and go down and see the bridge, the water. Because when it was the reform school, the boys would go down there and collect water, which I would love to just go down and just connect with the outside energy. So anyways, we showed up. And at first, because I didn't know where we were going, we got out of the car and I seen the place. And my cousin yelled, "Oh, Camp 30." And I'm like, explore a place I've been wanting to, seriously. But it was so much fun. It was fun. I had my daughter record 90% of them. She was my camera person. Uh, you hear us talking. Here's the fun part. I did not edit the video. Okay? So the very first one that I posted was like 40, a really good like half-hour video or so. And all it was me talking about the history and just walking around. And then there's like the walkthrough with everybody. What I didn't want was to edit all of that out. But when there's like 20 something minutes of just walking and talking and all you see is like trees and stuff and the odd building, it's not that exciting. So of the original video, I did like on my camera, I hit to cut. So I still have the original video, but I have the saved version. So I cut like 90% of it out of just the walking. All it was we were walking down the path. You could see the trees on both sides. I was just giving a history. I was talking about the experiences when I first heard about the Camp 30. It was one thing. Over the last couple of years, my boyfriend and I, we were talking about going to visit there because he mentioned it. So I saw some pictures on Google of what it was looking like with the vandalism and all the things, how it's looking now. And I was like, wait, and I wasn't trying to connect with the land, but I started saying things to him. When I was done, I decided, you know what, we're going to actually see if we can find some history on it and just see what was there before, because I know that it was a farmland. So, if you've watched any of my Tea Time with Glows, you'll know that. Anyways, so this is Camp 30. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a history. So there's some known names. There's Camp X. First of all, I'm going to start with it in order. There's Jury Farm. I don't know which of these two farm names came first because I never really actually like dug into the history. I just wanted to see if some of the things that I was wondering were actually true, and things that I picked up, which in the one video you'll see it's really weird. The vision I had, it was crazy. And then the next night, or the next morning, actually, I was fine. It wasn't until that second day where I was meditating and reflecting back on the experience at Camp 30 and why I was drawn to that one house, why I was staring into that one window, seeing it in the, you know what I mean? It was a beautiful experience because it was quiet. It was peaceful. There wasn't a lot of traffic. You didn't hear police cars. You didn't hear 100 cars go by. Like, it was quiet and peaceful. And that spot alone, you'd think would have like negative and lower vibrational energy. Other than the one building that I was drawn to, I'd like to actually go in there personally and investigate. There is a video where my boyfriend was filming. He heard something up there. Ironically, in the room that I had the vision. And, you know, he went to go investigate because there's other people, both my boyfriend and my cousin and I, but I say both because they were the ones who did other explorations and things like that. My youngest even went in, my son even went into one, just for a quick little walkthrough so that could take more videos. And if my knee wasn't messed up, I would have been the first one in each of them. Oh, come on, I wanted to, and I couldn't because of my knee. Like, I had just gotten the stitches out. Like, I couldn't afford to rip it open a second time because I did rip it open a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to go in, so they took turns with talking about the building and stuff like that, just to, to discuss it or whatever. And my daughter and I, we were just filming and talking about stuff. I don't know, there is swearing in it, but about the dogs, this woman, we were standing outside of the building, and this woman she didn't have her big ass dogs on a leash, and they ran, and my son wasn't expecting it. My daughter was filming, and she's afraid of dogs. It doesn't matter what size, especially medium and big size dogs. It makes her scared, gives her anxiety. She gets a panic attack. And my son doesn't know the dogs. I didn't. I was ready to go. No offense to anybody, but I was going to my son, and I was ready to kick that dog or take the bite for my kid if anything happened, because it came running away from its owner and started barking. It startled my son, who tried to run. I'm like, stop running, just stop. And the dog was circling him, and I was ready. My daughter at that point paused the thing, and actually she didn't have the phone because there was, my boyfriend and my cousin investigating, and you'll see if it's not edited out of it, which it shouldn't be because I think it's in this next video. You can see him zip right out. At that point, like, my daughter was scared. I was ready to go and kick the dog and go get my son. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I thought the dog was going to attack him too. I was even scared. So you've got like the three of us terrified, and my son, I ended up walking to him, and he came to me, and the dog left him alone. Now, if the dogs actually were vicious, they probably would have attacked. I'm not sure why they were barking the way they did. Maybe they were just excited and just wanted, that was their way of playing. I don't know, but I'm sorry, but some animal comes running at you barking. You're not going to stand there and be like, oh, come here, Wolfie. No one's going to bite your face off. And they're the type of dogs, they look like they are like a one-person owner kind of thing. And they were big. Like, they were big. I probably could have sat on one of their backs. And imagine that mother attacking you, and there was two. Oh, it was so scary. But anyways, Camp 30 was known as Jury Farm, Dutch Farm, Jury Lands, Camp X, Camp 30. Camp 30 is the historic name. The Bowmanville Boys Training School and Ontario Boys Training School. Those are the nicest names. So here's a little bit of a background. So I'm not 100% sure on all the information because I never went into archives and did full research. I just used a couple websites to see and just to reference. From what I've gathered and from experience, from growing up and hearing stories, from what I get, in 1925, John H. Jury was a horticulturist and a pharmacist. His farm was known as Darch Farm, and according to research, Jury donated 300 acres, or I don't know if it was 300. There's a couple things online that say 110 acres and donated 106, but then there's something saying he donated 300, and they're saying they donated it to the province of Ontario, but it was in Bowmanville in 1922. This is when John H. Was it 1922? Okay, so that was around the time, I think he had it in 1922, but in 1925 is when he originally donated the farm to Bowmanville, or maybe it was 1922, I freaking know, I gotta get the time frame. But apparently it was donated to Bowmanville or to the province of Ontario to build a reformatory school, also known as the Boys Training School, and it's located in the outskirts of Ontario. In 1927, the boarding school, which is what it was considered because it was around World War II, the boarding school was non-institutional mode, like it had non-institutional modes that were consisting of education to reform, because of reform, a reformatory school, um, to reform boys by providing mental, moral, physical, vocational education and training, and it was open to boys ages 8 to 14. I need to look more into the history so I can be more accurate, so please don't take this as set in stone. Take all of this as a grain of salt, or with a grain of salt. And then it was roughly open for about 14 years. Like, I know that it was turned into a POW camp, which is prisoner of war camp. And it was during World War II that Bowmanville Boys School was considered the most progressive institution of its kind in Canada. I Some of the information is kind of unclear to me. So from I guess 1941 to 1945, that's when the school became the POW camp, and also the happening of the Battle of Bowmanville, which I'll get into. So this POW camp, which is Camp 30, it held over 800 German officers and other ranks who were captured during World War II. It is said that the Battle of Bowmanville was a 3-day prison riot over the shackling of the prisoners at the camp. But the POWs were apparently paid, so they could like purchase goods and stuff like that. And they did work around the farm to earn those funds. They were able to rank up in, like they were able to be promoted through rank or in rank. I'm not sure. Please forgive me on how that is stated. I just know that you get to be promoted through ranks. And it was all the officers that were captured during World War II. Now, some of the activities that would occupy them would be like a camp newspaper, which I didn't know they had, films, shows. They did gardening, farming operation, orchestras. That would they had a piano, so people would play piano. And I guess around 1945, after it had closed as the POW camp, the Camp 30 was reopened as a school, which operated roughly till 1979. And then from 1983 until 2008, it was multiple private schools. I'm not 100% sure how accurate all of that is, because I didn't go to the Bowmanville archives or anything like that, or Archives of Canada or Ontario or whatever I'm supposed to do. I'm not a researcher. We just happened to show up, and because I've always wanted to do some type of walkthrough, we got to do that, and I'm like, hey, let's see if I can get a little bit of information. So I'm hoping that is kind of accurate, but I'm not really sure. So we'll just have to figure that out. Anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining. This is probably the longest half hour of your time in a while, but I just wanted to give a little bit of information.